G'day race fans. This week we head down under to turn laps at one of the greatest bogan attraction devices known to modern man, Mount Panorama, Bathurst, New South Wales. Filled with corners known by every motorsport fan in Australia, home of events and incidents that defined and shaped our childhood. The Rock, the Moffat Ford XA Falcon 1-2 finish, the Kangaroo, you're a pack of arseholes, the Tirana A9 XSS to name just a few. This week we'll watch the sun setting over Skyline as the flat sixes start belting over the top of the mountain. Conrod, The Chase, Forest Elbow, Hell's Corner, Murray's, The Cutting, Reed, Sulman and McPhillamy Park. This track has become one of the more popular on the iRacing service and provides plenty of 50 cent, 5 cent freckle moments for the participants. So let's not waste any more time waxing lyrical and get into the race report. Just a heads up to our international viewers, you won't hear the following words in this report. Struth, crack open a Foster's and throw another shrimp on the barbie. Crikey! This week's qualifying report is brought to you by Vegemite. Vegemite tastes like punching a shark in the face during a surfing comp. This makes sense, because when this happens there'll be a greasy brown mess somewhere near you, so keep your mouth closed, otherwise you will learn what Aussies put on their toast each morning voluntarily. Vegemite, why Australians are tougher than most. Once again this season we had 17 drivers take part and we saw a new first-time pole setter in David Cook, who managed a sparkling sub 2:08 lap. Josh Doyle took second position by only .092 of a second. Michael Need took the second row and Aaron Cooper filled out the top two rows with a time of 2:08.611. Leonard had a surprising fifth spot as off-tracks took a toll during qualifying down the field. And the green lights are showing and the cars are underway as they launch down the main straight for the first time today. A relatively clean start, as unlike the iRacing official series, we prove once again that going in a straight line is not really that difficult. The cars are jostling for position up Mountain Straight for the first time. Leonard quickly jumps into second heading into Griffin to start to chase down the leader. Incident free for the first lap as the field sorts themselves out into single file before the first look at the mountain. This group of Neat, Cooper and Parent start to find a rhythm and the start of a great tassel is set up in the opening corners. Still on lap 1 and the Elbow claimed its first victim with Needy going a touch wide under brakes and giving up the spot to Cooper. Who the hell puts an elbow on a racetrack anyway, was heard screamed from the cockpit of the number at 14. The cars funnel through the chase for the first time and you can almost see people changing their mind and braking considerably early as they feel for the cold brakes and hope that they start to warm up in the coming laps. End of lap 1 and we see Daniel Bailey mount the curb at Murray's Corner with Pete Matthews up his Jack's cracker. Both drivers are not real sure what they have underneath them just yet, and cooler heads prevail for now. Pete moves to the inside into Hells, but Bailey was having nothing of that, forcing Pete to slot into the draft as they head up Mountain Straight and start pulling their seatbelts tight in expectation of what is to come. As they enter Griffin's, Pete has a think about the past, then realises thinking isn't his strong point, so he bails out on the situation. Lap 2 saw the first major incident of the race as Reed takes a headfirst entry into the wall at Skyline, giving an ever-improving Clinton Parker just nowhere to go. We are not sure how Clinton will come back after this, because mentally speaking, Sean Reed was announced dead on arrival back in pit lane. Lap 3 and Smallcombe has a technical issue heading into Hell's Corner and parks it in the grass. For those familiar with the old Albany land, this is not the first time we've ever seen a purple Porsche in the grass. End of lap 3 saw Leonard closing up on the back of Cookie heading down the chase, and he performed a successful pass into Murray's after closing. This was the last time he was challenged and headed off for an easy victory. Lap 3 also saw one of the more unlucky incidents of the race as the duo in yellow tried to go too wide through the chase and, well, pretty much they ran out of talent. It looks like Bailey got a bit twitchy and didn't quite leave enough room, which resulted in Pete taking the scenic route through the sand. Tough incident that, as that is just a tough place to make a pass stick. Then we see Matthews at the end of lap 4 battling damage and losing the fight with the braking area into Forest Elbow. This was the scene of many a mishap in practice, as the track pulls you right into a very solid wall there. From here, Pete went out for a seafood dinner and was last seen crabbing down Conrod. Lap 5, and Doyle, Cooper and Neat are still nose to tail and were involved in a great tussle for most of the race. Cooper gets a run on Doyle heading up the mountains, and you can feel both drivers leaning forward trying to get the most out of their chariots. This let Neat into the mix, and everyone's heart jumped into their throats as Griffins loomed. Cooler heads prevailed as Cooper makes the pass stick. But we see Lewis Parham sporting the new KFC livery, thank God. Coming around Sulman, and McPhillamy gets it wrong heading into the S's, losing positions. A little bit of respect as well was lost, but he continues on behind the battle group of Watson and Newton. Great choice of livery that. There has been plenty of zingers in Discord. Thank you, I'm here all week. Try the veal. We ride on board with Aaron Cooper through the chase here as we see him closing in on David Cook. Cookie had a few moments here under braking and got a little bit loose on exit, and that created a nice option for Aaron to start putting a little bit of pressure. Both of these drivers have been really close all season. They haven't been able to be split at Bathurst either. Cookie decides not to fight it, going into Hell's Corner after getting a little bit slippery in the preceding corners and deciding to try to regain some rhythm. Cookie manages a good exit out of Hell's Corner, and with the assistance of lap traffic manages to close up behind Aaron Cooper heading up to Griffin. But Aaron Cooper was having nothing of that, leaving no doubt to Cookie that he intends to hold his spot. Some great hard racing there, fellas. Lap 11, and we see the battle group of Neat, Watson and Newton have a lap to remember as we follow the action from Hell's Corner. Neat had been held up by lap traffic at the top of the mountain, but both Watson and Newton recognised the situation and held line astern to allow the lap car a safe let-through situation. Then it was on. Neat got a bit wide at Hells and Watson had the run. Taking advantage of the tow, Neaty went defensive. Both drivers gave each plenty of room into Griffins and a nice pass was made. Newton got into the action, causing a moment of grace for Watson over the top of the mountain. It was clear this was going to be a run down Conrod to decide the positions. Watson conceded early and took the line he wanted heading down into the chase. Neat had the run with the tow and decided to aim up the inside of the chase, and here we see two rivals giving heaps of room and heaps of respect, with Watson holding the outside line. Watson pushed wide into the left-hander after the chase and Neat tried the cutback. Watson had momentum and position, which gave Newton a look in at Neat into Murray's, which he gladly took advantage of. There's a little bit of tongue twister. This is how they would finish the race one lap later, despite Watson attempting to throw it all away at the exit of Hells. And once more, the victor was Leonard and crossed the finish line a comfortable 11 seconds ahead of Aaron Cooper, and David Cook rounded out the top three. Josh Doyle finished a nervous fourth, with the closing pack of Watson, Neat and Newton bearing down on him in the closing laps. A big shout out to everyone in this race, as the incident count was incredibly low. 9 cars achieved a 0 incident bonus and no one received the 10 incident penalty. Phenomenal effort that. Leonard cemented the championship this round and will be crowned in the coming weeks. Cooper cemented second position, but with 2 rounds left it gives Cookie a great opportunity to try to take that spot away. Watson is now almost certainly outside of the top 3. Lewis Parham jumped Bailey, but that will go down to the line and Pete Matthews will need luck on his side to pass Bailey now. Smallcombe leads Josh Doyle and Jasmine Beach, but Doyle only has 7 races counted. If we add on the estimated points for the closing 2 rounds, Josh could potentially insert himself into the Bailey and Matthews battle. If you would like to get in touch with the Sandgroper Sim Racing community, you can do so by following any of the links in the description below. You'll find a link to our Facebook page, YouTube channel, and a very active Discord channel. Newcomers are always welcome, and we look forward to meeting new members. Next week is the second last round, and we visit one of the most recognisable circuits in the world, Spa. Hey Rouge, enough said.